Causeway Street Podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Pavone. Joel Pavone. Mr. Sean Dutra.
Hey, this is Leon Poe, man. You listening to Causeway Street Podcast.
What's up, y'all? This is Kenny Anderson.
Hi, this is Tyler Zeller from the Boston Celtics.
Y'all listen to the Causeway Street Podcast.
For all you new listeners out there, I'm your host, Joseph Pavone. I'm joined as usual by my two co-hosts.
I'm Sean Dutra. What's up? So
Yeah,
like
talk
long
about
walks
yourself.
on the beach.
There you go. Joel Pavone. What up?
I'm a Pisces.
The most
It
romantic.
leads off with that.
The most romantic sign in all of Zodiac.
Oh,
You couldn't tell by my voice already.
oh,
Sexy. I'm the producer of this ensemble that we call Causeway Street. In case you missed it.
Hey, Bill Walton here, Celtics 1986. You're listening to the Causeway Street Podcast. Yeah, come here for nothing but the truth. This is where dreams come true. Thank you, Boston, for my life.
where are we going?
You guys are such homers.
It's your boy Tay Rozier. You're listening to the Causeway Street Podcast. Now listen to my boys Joe, Sway, Joel, and Sean.
What goes through your mind when you think of the words Game 7?
That's where all the great players make their name. You got to give it everything you got. That's, I guess, where legends are born. So we're excited. I'm excited. Have Game 7 back in Boston in the Garden. I mean, if you would say that back in October, that we'll be in Game 7 in the second round, a lot of people probably wouldn't even believe that. But a Game 7 in Boston, I mean, I think a lot of people will take that, and we will as well. So, like Coach said, keep our head up, stay confident, and we got to just take care of business on Monday.
Oh, man. Fellas, here we are.
Yep.
The two best words ever said in the NBA playoffs, right? Game 7.
I mean,
Game 7.
entertainment-wise, yes. My sanity-wise, no. No, this is killing me, dude.
So the Celtics shouldn't be in this position, right?
No, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes.
I mean, they had that game. Game 6, 5-point lead, 128 left. But then John Wall happened.
I mean,
Well, Bradley Beal happened.
let's
John Wall happened, and then John Wall happened again.
Let's chill with the John Wall happened, dude. He had a nice shot. Hey, he's not.
Come on,
He
Sean.
didn't take the game
Come
over. He didn't do
on,
nothing.
Sean.
He didn't do nothing like that.
I'm with Sean. It was a lucky shot. You guys are crazy.
I didn't
That's how you
say-
want to start this podcast right now?
I'm not saying it's a.
That's how you want to start this podcast right now?
I'm not saying it's a
No, guys,
lucky shot.
Come on. This has been like the most boring playoffs, right? So Game 7 had to happen, correct?
Yeah, that was. Are you calling a conspiracy theory right now?
No, I'm just saying that
what you trying to
like everyone should just accept the fact that there's going to be a Game 7 because there hasn't been a Game 7 in these playoffs. So here it is.
Who was that? Don He's reffing? Is that who's reffing this game?
Come on, guys. You guys really going to go down this road right now?
Yep.
Come on, man. The Wizards, they earned it.
I'm salty.
John Wall earned it.
I'm salty right now, man.
John Wall did it. He hit the biggest shot of his career. Yeah, biggest shot of his career.
Obviously.
A 30% shooter from the 3-point line made a big shot. Yeah, cold-blooded. Give him that. Cold-blooded shot in front of the Celtics' best defender, arguably the best defender in the NBA. Right?
Well,
we always say that about everybody.
I mean, this is really narrowing down how the game freaking ended because I think that there was a lot more that went into just that final shot. That's why I didn't want to give John Wall all the credit. I think that the Celtics screwed up 100%, like on multiple occasions in this last couple of seconds of the game. I think John Wall made a big shot. I mean, he made a big shot. I will give him that. That was a big time playoff Game 6. You got to hit this shot for your season to live on, and he nailed it. But I mean, same time, what is Avery Bradley doing there?
Come on.
What is Avery Bradley doing there?
Celtics should have been in that position though.
Well, even if you say they're not supposed to be in that position, like you're up by 2 points, you need to guard the 3-pointer. You can't. The only thing you can't give up there is a 3, and you lay off them. That just stuck with me. Probably it's still stuck with me. That's the only thing I can think about is why wasn't the best guard defender in the league last year up on John Wall, just making his life miserable. No answer to that. There's no answer to that.
Because John Wall tends to go to the hoop. That's why.
Fine.
That's why. But I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying because
that wasn't a play, though.
You live with the layup, obviously, because you go into overtime. So I get what Sean's saying. But at the same time, though, I mean, I just feel like he didn't want to give him that space. And I'm with you. Okay, he could have stayed a little closer. You know, give him a little too much space.
Too much.
But I just thought, and you know, from the 2 dribbles that he made, just seeing John Wall, I mean, when he made those 2 dribbles, I'm like, he's taking that shot. He's taking it right in front of Avery Bradley. And Avery Bradley gave him more than enough space. And he knocked down one hell of a shot. One of the best game winners I've seen in quite some time. I'm gonna say that. In quite some time. Come on. Right in his face.
I can't.
Ballsy. With the season on the line. On his own floor. But you know what?
Except they celebrated like they just won the fucking World Cup right after that.
The Wizards always do that. That stupid Rough Riders beat that they play afterwards.
John Wall acting like Paul
they always
Pierce.
Do that. They always do that.
After he won the championships, they on the scores table.
They ain't no Rough Riders. They ain't no gangsters. They ain't no thugs. They're just a bunch of dudes that happen to be in a great position to do something that hasn't been done in their franchise history in like 30 years. Awesome, great.
What?
But get it done first. Make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
They haven't done that.
That's what I'm saying, though. But they haven't done that in 30 years. So then they didn't do nothing but win the games that they're supposed to win at home.
That's what I'm saying. Why was John Wall on the scorer's table?
Because that's what he does.
I don't know.
Well, okay. We'll back up a bit. We'll talk about what happened during the game, what led to that.
This
is the Causeway Street Podcast.
There you go.
We're here, you know, obviously getting right into the talk. I mean, we have to get right into it because it's still fresh.
Welcome back, Sway. Welcome back.
Game 7. I'm back. Thank you, Joel.
Welcome back. Welcome.
Joel, Dutra, miss you guys.
Hi.
It's great to be back. Great to be back home.
We didn't send Sway down to D.C. thinking that you know, the Celtics are going to do their thing, and he's going to have to waste a trip down there.
All I'm saying is Sway's supposed to be in the building for Game 7.
Sean, if I didn't tell you...
He's been there for every home game for the Celtics.
If I didn't tell you about the last time I was at a Game 7, you wouldn't be saying that. So why are you even saying that right now?
You shouldn't have told me.
That's the only Game 7 I've been to. The only one I've been to, 2009 against the Orlando Magic.
I was there too. If that takes some heat off his Sway.
No.
Maybe you should come. Maybe you should come and tip the scale.
I don't think I've ever been to
You never been to
a Game
7?
No.
Maybe you should come. Maybe I won't be the battle.
No,
because if the Celtics lose,
I'm going to sit right here.
If the Celtics lose, Sean's going to hold this over my head.
I'm going to sit right here in my lucky spot, not on the couch, in my chair, in the corner.
Right here in the 101 Causeway Street Studios.
Right by the studio.
Cool.
All right, so we'll talk about, of course, what happened in Game 6. We'll look ahead to Game 7, make our predictions, and we'll also talk about the whole funeral thing. How'd you guys feel about this? You know what? I wasn't a big fan of it. I didn't think it was something that... Why did you like it? Why? You know what? Okay, you know what? Save that thought. Let's talk about the game first. We'll talk about the game, and then at the end, of course, we'll do it with in case you missed it with Joel.
It was a coincidence.
We'll take a trip around the NBA. But all right, first things first. Let's start with that, actually. So the Celtics arrive in all black, just like the Wizards did in January against the Celtics.
Yeah.
And, you know, what do they say? This is going to be the end of the Celtics. You know how you guys know how I felt about that. I thought it was stupid because the Celtics still have to play basketball after that. But in this instant, it kind of makes sense. But what I didn't like about it was that the Celtics were copying what the Wizards did. I mean, obviously, the Celtics are going into this game thinking that, okay, if we win it, we're going to look great. But I don't think the Celtics look great, even if they win. And you did the all black thing. Because you're copying them. You're doing what they did.
I just thought it was a heel move. You know what I mean? Like I like that. Like they were obviously everyone thought it was the dumbest fucking thing in the world for the Wizards to wear black in
so
January.
Like, why did you copy them?
But it was because it was in January. Like it was so stupid that if they did it now and they won, then they would have ended that franchise. Like they would have legitimately like been like, this is John Wall's a joke, Beal's a joke, this whole team's a joke. Because you did this in a stupid situation where it meant nothing, and now guess what? We can do that. We can also beat you in a Game 6, and then we can do this better than you. I don't know. It's an intimidation game, but I think the only problem I had with it was you haven't won on the Verizon Center all fucking year.
I thought it was ballsy.
Like, yeah,
I thought it was ballsy,
which I respected. But I mean, they needed to win.
Yeah, obviously. now
they're
wearing black to go home.
Yeah, I think win or lose, I just thought it was a bad idea.
Yeah, I thought it was ballsy. That's all. That's all my feeling was about it. I wasn't like, oh yeah, like I didn't feel like good or bad, if that makes sense.
Did it give them extra fuel?
No.
Nah, I don't think so. Everyone came out flat. I mean,
both teams for like 3.5 quarters.
Yeah.
Both teams played like ass.
Yeah, for real. Like other than the last 2 minutes of the first half where the Celtics went on that nice run.
Yeah.
Everybody played like shit.
It was pretty sloppy.
Yeah, it was a sloppy game.
It was sloppy.
Like I don't think that game.
Like I think the only Wizards' advantage was the fact that they outscored the Celtics by like 26 points in the paint.
Yeah, well,
that was it for the Wizards' sake.
Well, Bradley Beal had a hell of a game.
He did.
Yeah, Bradley Beal had a hell of a game.
It was a battle of the guards, right? Because Isaiah and Avery combined for what? 40 something points? 54.
Mm-hmm.
And
27 apiece.
And Bradley Beal had 33.
I got that right. Look at that.
Yeah.
Hey, my math's getting better, fellas. My math's getting a little better.
And Bradley Beal had 33 and John Wall had what?
26.
Yeah. So what's that, Sway?
59?
To me, Game 6 was a missed opportunity for the Celtics. Gigantic missed opportunity.
The one they may regret.
I mean,
it was the best they've played in the series in the Verizon Center.
Yes. Yes, I will say that.
It's not saying much, but okay, I guess you can say
Actually,
that.
was it just
hashtag silver lining?
Was it just the worst that the Wizards played in the Verizon Center?
In the series?
In the series.
Yeah. Because they've blown out the Celtics.
I mean, the
by
Celtics
20 plus points in the last 2 meetings.
Probably played as well as they did, but the Wizards just weren't making shots. Like they weren't going on runs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Game 7, man.
I just feel. Well, okay, real quick before we get to Game 7 though, I just feel like
let's go.
If you give the Wizards that little window of opportunity, like they're gonna capitalize on it. But at the same time, if the Celtics were to get out to a quicker lead in the fourth quarter, like if they grab the 10-point lead, I don't see the Wizards coming back. Whereas if it's the other way around, we've seen the Celtics make comeback time and time again.
Well, I will say this:
so
when the Celtics made that run, the Wizards were scoreless for like 14 minutes of basketball time from the the middle of the second quarter to like the middle of the third quarter, and the Celtics couldn't pull away.
Right.
They couldn't pull away.
It's like they were both missing. Right.
Which that was the opportunity. If the Celtics would have steal that game, it was right there.
Yeah, because
right there, but they couldn't.
Yeah, other than Morris, who scored double digits, Porter had 0 points.
Gortat had 2.
Their bench combined.
Yeah, a lot
for
of boards,
13.
but yeah,
their bench combined for 13
How
points.
about Bogdanovich do?
4? What was he at?
Yeah, 4.
4 points?
4 points.
I mean, they were getting nothing from their guys, but the biggest moment that I think happened where the momentum completely shifted into the hands of the Wizards was when Isaiah Thomas made that turnover.
Yeah.
That was a terrible pass. I mean, I don't understand what even made him feel like he had to force that one, where they had a full...
He should just throw it out of bounds.
They had a full shot clock. They had, what, a minute 20 left? You could have taken that to a minute left in the game, created something, whereas you end up giving up a three-pointer on Bradley Beal.
Even if you
kill clock, right.
I think he just got scared when the two just crowded him.
They didn't get scared. I think he tried to make a play. I think he tried to make a play that was obviously...
But nobody was near him, though, to like make that pass. No one was near him.
It was an ill-advised pass, but I think it came from a place of, I need to make a play. Like
especially after Marcus,
a little bit of panic.
Why force it?
Yeah.
If you have 20 seconds on the clock.
You're winning the game. You just got the call reversed on the road. Marcus Smart...
Huge charge.
Feet was fucking planted.
Right.
I'm surprised they reversed it. It should have been a charge, but I'm surprised they did.
Well,
that's a momentum changer.
You give them that small window and that they'll capitalize. But if the Celtics were to grab an 8-point, 9-point lead, I just feel like it's a different story when it comes to the Wizards.
Plus, what the hell why was Kelly Olynyk in the game?
In the fourth quarter?
I mean,
just in the fourth quarter.
At this point, man, that's like the 6th or 7th worst thing that happened for the Celtics.
I don't know, man. I just don't understand why.
He was in at the end because who else would have been in instead of him?
I don't understand though.
Like that play where he gets
like setting up a play for Kelly Olynyk.
That play is at
3
least
seconds
worked,
left.
like
3.7.
That play has at least worked. I think twice, maybe 3 times this series where he posts a player up underneath and they just lob it over him. Like that play has been working. Like as stupid as it is to see Kelly Olynyk try to get the ball, Kelly Olynyk the last shot of the game, ridiculous. But that play that Brad drew up, they've run that like at least 4 or 5, maybe I don't know how many times,
a handful of times,
multiple times to be either a foul, which turned out to be a foul, or a bucket. So I mean,
but Kelly never even had full possession of the ball before he got fouled.
Well, if you want to talk about that, how about the refs screwing up the clock? I mean, that was a fact.
Yeah.
But I mean, you put that extra second in there, though.
Yeah, that's an extra dribble. That's an extra dribble that Isaiah can take to get a little more breathing room.
But Isaiah's taking. Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say go to the hoop because he's taking the 3-pointer.
I'm just saying, instead of him fading away, maybe he's leaning into the bucket. I don't know. That could have been. Makes all the difference in the world, especially in a bang situation. You get an extra second there. But the thing that pissed me off, I was screaming at the TV, and the announcers didn't catch.
No,
they didn't say shit.
They didn't hear you, huh?
No, it was blatant. They're watching the same freaking game as me. They didn't say shit.
Tucho was like, "Fucking Hubie, come on!"
But you're complaining like, I'm screaming at the TV, and they didn't hear me. They're not saying what I'm saying.
How did nobody else notice that until after the game?
Yeah.
That was blatant. They should have reviewed the time.
What a shot by Al Horford, though. I mean, all the Al Horford haters, the way he's been playing in this series, I mean, playing some of the best basketball we've seen from him this year, hits the bank shot. That was the ugliest looking shot. That had no business going in, but it banks in, puts the Celtics up by 2. And, if Wall doesn't make that 3, that's the story of the series. Al Horford, game winner, sends his team into the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what that max money was for.
Making his paycheck.
Exactly. That would have been the dialogue. But here's my question to you guys as we shift our focus over to Game 7.
Woo! Game 7, baby, yeah!
Can Al Horford continue to play this well? This is going to be, 3 games in a row? Let's say, hypothetically, he does his 20 points and near triple-double that he's been doing, it feels like the last 2 games. Can he do that again? Because they're going to need it. They need Horford in that Game 7. They need him to be that flirting with the triple-double, 20 points, Al Horford that we've seen in the series.
Not only is he going to play well, because he plays considerably well at home, but Crowder's going to play well.
Is he?
You're going to have Rozier.
I don't like Crowder.
You're going to have Rozier coming out playing well, playing more than 11 minutes that he played in Game 6. Shit, I'll even say Kelly Olynyk will be shooting much better than he did.
Really?
Than he has all series.
Okay, I'm gonna remember all this in Game 7 because
it's just because it's at home.
This is the difference between these two teams, though. This is the difference between these two teams. The Celtics need like 5 guys to play really well, whereas the Wizards, you said it, 2 guys played well, and Morris had a good game, and that was enough for them to beat the Celtics.
But
he had a decent game.
But
and I'm still waiting for
the Celtics,
Wall and Beal to combine for 70 points because I won't be surprised if it happens.
If the Celtics get consistent play from their starting lineup, if Crowder and Bradley play well, and Isaiah Thomas and Al Horford play well, it doesn't matter how many points John Wall puts up. It doesn't matter how many points Bradley Beal puts up. The Celtics will win that game. So if the Celtics are on point, they will win the game. If they're not getting that solid team contribution, then that's where you see John Wall and Bradley Beal being able to put up points and make it a difference.
This is the first game, other than Game 3, where the Celtics didn't put up 100 points, right? They're averaging 112 points in this series, the Celtics. Like you said, if Crowder had a better shooting night, if somebody off the bench, doesn't necessarily have to be Olynyk, if anybody from the bench, Smart, Rozier, had a decent shooting night, it probably would have been a different ballgame. Still would have been a close game.
But see, that's just a huge if to me because Crowder just hasn't given you much, close to nothing. I want to say. So then, is that fair to say? Close to nothing.
Okay.
The last 2-3 games.
So then, remember Game?
No,
last 3 games.
Remember Game 5?
Game 2 was the
He
last time.
played very well in Game 5.
Okay, but and remember in Game 5, he got going early.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Game 5. I'm thinking of. Yeah. Okay. Game.
He got going. Rozier was shooting well. Marcus Smart, like just one of those guys. That's all it takes for the Celtics to have the advantage because Bradley's doing his thing for the last few games.
Yeah, but see, okay,
Horford has only had 1 bad game.
Game
all
5,
series.
Game 5, Horford's been great. Game 5, he gave you that solid outing, but Game 5 was all about Avery Bradley. I mean, let's face it, Avery Bradley, that was arguably his best game of his career.
Okay,
I
agree with you, but in Game 6, Thomas, Bradley, and Horford, right? They did their jobs, right? Am I wrong? Other than Thomas turning the ball over.
Wait, Bradley and who?
Bradley, Thomas, and Horford.
Okay, yeah.
Where was Olynyk? Where was Crowder? Where was Smart?
But see, that's why. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
A good question. Smart's missing. But that's the thing, though. When it comes to Game 7, like I just feel like the Celtics they rely on more guys than the Wizards do.
I'll make a prediction right now. Marcus Smart's going to be the most valuable player in Game 7.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
gonna
look,
come up
from your mouth to the basketball god's ears.
We've seen Marcus Smart come up big in the playoffs. I mean, it was a small sample size, but in those 2 games against Atlanta, the only 2 games the Celtics won in last year's postseason for this. I mean, he was huge. He was arguably the reason why they won those games, especially the overtime one.
I'll even quote Dutra.
Especially in overtime.
He doesn't even have to score to be impactful. Give me those smart plays, like those like, game-winning plays. Right. Give me a crazy rebound like we saw in Game 5.
Like taking that charge.
Yeah,
at the end of the fourth quarter.
Give me a steal, like at a crucial moment that could change the game. And that's all you need from Smart to be valuable.
That's legitimately all you need is for him to make.
If he scores, that's the bonus.
A positive impact on the game, which will probably happen.
Even if he hits one like crazy 3-pointer.
Yeah.
Even if that's his only 3 of the game, and that influences the winning. Then that's it.
3 points a charge, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Marcus Smart is an MVP of that game. However, that could be the line. Like I seriously think that he's the missing link. Like if the only player that hasn't had a great game or a good game in the Celtics regular rotation this series has been Marcus Smart. Really?
Yeah. His Game 5 was his only decent game.
But I mean, but it wasn't. The Celtics were winning that game if Marcus Smart was playing in that game or not.
Yeah, but
this is the game.
He was noticeable.
This is
he was
the game
noticeable
that
in that
Marcus
game.
Smart will decide. He will. Yeah. I have a feeling. I feel like this is like he's going to be the guy because
that's how I felt about Game 6. I thought that would be the game, but okay, could be Game 7.
I think it will be, man. I really think it will be. I think Marcus Smart's going to be a huge component of this series. By the way. Where did Amir Johnson come from? We literally had him 6 feet under.
We thought he had played his last game. Yeah,
we were throwing dirt all over Amir Johnson, and all of a sudden,
I didn't want him to start.
All of a sudden,
in the first quarter too, make an impact.
All of a sudden, he comes out like that
right after the tip.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're gonna need that in Game 7.
Yeah, I was just gonna say who's gonna start in Game 7, but you gotta go Amir.
Yeah, gotta go Amir.
Gotta go Amir.
I mean, if he just play some defense, get some rebounds.
That's what he's been doing.
That's all we really need. That's all the Celtics really need him to do.
Couple oops.
Couple oops. There you go.
Couple alleys, dude.
Yeah.
Well, you guys heard from the top. I mean, Isaiah Thomas this is nothing for him. He says no pressure going to
excited.
Game 7. His very first Game 7. He talked about the great Game 7s he's seen in the past, whether it was Paul Pierce versus LeBron or who am I forgetting? A bunch. Who else am I forgetting? Iverson versus Vince Carter. What was it? Kobe versus the Celtics in 2010. I mean, he's seen a lot of them. He of course
get the
talked about them.
Out of here, dude. Why are you gonna bring that shit up?
Sean, are you really? What am I jinxing this thing for the Celtics? Is that what it is?
A little bit.
It's a quote. Okay, it's what he said. He brought it up. I didn't bring it up. I'm relaying what Thomas said.
Don't shoot the messenger, man. You don't want him to leave again.
Blah blah.
He says the best players play at their best in those type of situations. Any concern, guys? Are we going to see? We're not going to see a James Harden situation here, are we? Game 7.
No, I don't. I'm not concerned with the.
Just throwing it out there.
I'm not concerned with. I'm not concerned with Thomas, Bradley, or Horford. To be honest,
for real,
it's just those other guys need to step up. No, that was a difference in Game 6.
I will be shocked if Thomas doesn't go for 35 plus. I will be shocked unless it's a Game 5 situation where he does everything he needs to do other than scoring. But I really feel
or he passes and scores 20 points and everybody else.
Right. Game 5 situation where he did in Game 5.
Four or five people in double figures. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, I truly think that Isaiah's going to come out hot, and then the first sign of we may not have this, Isaiah's going to take over the game. Like, he's the type of player that lives for these moments. This is him. Mm-hmm. This is his moment. Like, Game 7 and the Eastern Conference semifinals, like, I'm sorry, and I'm sure he knows this too. Like, he's not stupid.
Yeah.
This is their fucking NBA finals right now.
Yep.
They're probably not going to get past the Cavs, right?
Yeah.
They need to get there. They need to. This is the shining moment of these playoffs.
This is the Wizards / Bullets first Game 7 in their franchise history.
Fine, I don't give a fuck.
I'm just saying.
Well, just say some more stupid shit. Come on.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm just joking with you, man.
You're just spitting facts. See, I feel like down the stretch in Game 6, I was thinking, okay, you know what? The Celtics have been in this situation so many times, and I feel like if it's a 1-point game, 2-point game, they're going to find a way to get out of it. Obviously, that didn't happen. So going into Game 7, if that same situation arrives, I think the Celtics will eventually come out of it. But if the Wizards get a good enough lead going into those last few minutes of the fourth quarter, and you got John Wall feeling it, and Bradley Beal's, scoring over 30 plus, that's a tough situation for the Celtics to get out of, because like Joel said, you need those guys to the other guys to step up. We're not worried about Isaiah Thomas. He's going, like you said, he's going to drop his 35. I wouldn't be surprised. We necessarily may not have to worry as much about Bradley.
Nah, he's been on.
I mean, injury. I'm thinking health wise throughout the stretch of the game. If he's okay by the end of the fourth quarter, then you don't have to worry about Avery Bradley.
Nah, his wifey got him on point. He's like, nope.
But the other
Get
guys,
your shit together, bro.
The other guys are going to have to set the stage for Bradley and Isaiah Thomas. And
Bradley's been running some shit.
And I think one of the most important parts going into that fourth quarter is how the Celtics look in the third quarter. I mean, it's been the story of this series. The third quarter of Game 4, where the Wizards went on to that crazy, 26-0 run. Third quarter.
Yeah.
The run before that one, 22 points in Game 3, third quarter. The Celtics, taking care of business at home, they stole the momentum in the third quarter when they, Game 5, they blew them out, winning that blowout start in the third quarter. So
Game 6, where couldn't the Celtics take advantage of? Third quarter. They had the Wizards couldn't score, and the Celtics couldn't.
But they didn't capitalize on it. Yeah.
That was it.
What was it? A 2-point game going into the fourth, right? I mean, the Celtics had a chance to go into the fourth with a double-digit lead. Put the Wizards on the back against the wall.
So the third quarter is the spot. Third quarter is the spot.
Third quarter is the spot. But
because I think if you get up on the Wizards,
John Wall and Bradley Beal. Let's face it, John Wall is the best player in the series.
No,
he's the best player in the series.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes,
he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he is not. This is the radio we're gonna have right now. No, Isaiah Thomas is a better player than John Wall.
You're gonna put Isaiah Thomas above John Wall.
Yes. And I'm a John Wall guy.
You are a John Wall guy. I'm surprised you're saying this.
I'm a John Wall guy.
You were saying this before the series. So what made you switch?
Mentally. I think their skill set is right there, but mentally you will see. And if anybody saw after Game 6, yes, John Wall, you made a great shot. But is that what you're playing for? Is that what you're going to get on the freaking stands for and fucking go crazy and stand on the scorer's table under confetti and fucking go crazy because you won Game 6 on a game winner?
These two teams hate each other, man. I'm not surprised he did that.
Fine. If you win the series, go fucking ape shit. Just fucking do it. But if you win Game 6 and you still got to travel back to Boston, a place you never won all year, a place that you played like shit all year.
The Wizards haven't won in 2 years. At the Garden in the last 2 years.
Okay, so yes, so you can't win there, and then you're fucking celebrating like you just fucking won an NBA title.
All right.
Like that normally doesn't get me upset, but the fact that it's John Wall and he's got this rap of being an immature guy who doesn't care about winning, who just cares about stats and playing well and looking good on the court. Like as much as he wants to move past that, he's not there. But Isaiah Thomas is there. Isaiah Thomas is more mentally strong, and I think is a better pure scorer. Maybe John Wall's a better athlete. But if I had to pick, because both are not a number one on a championship team by themselves. They can't lead a team into a playoffs, right? They can't lead a team to a championship just being themselves and then add role players around them. If I had to pick one of them on a championship team, I'm taking Isaiah Thomas every single day of the week. Every single day of the week.
All right. In this series, in my opinion, John Wall gets the slight edge. Mentally, you're right. Isaiah, obviously, for what he's been through and what he's been doing all playoffs, right? Just
imagine if he was right.
The first 2 rounds, right? Okay. But if John Wall doesn't perform, if he has an off night, the Wizards are probably going to lose.
You know why?
Hold on. But if Isaiah has an off night and everyone is doing what they're supposed to do, the Celtics are going to win easily.
Let me tell you why. This is exactly why I'm going to take Isaiah.
But it could happen.
This is exactly why I'm going to take Isaiah. Because Isaiah won't stop playing. If John Wall's having a bad night, he will put himself on the bench. And he will sit on the bench because he's not having a good night. If Isaiah's having an off night, he continually tries to get himself out of that slump and tries to make players around him better. He doesn't give up. John Wall is a quitter. John Wall is an absolute quitter. And skill-wise, 100%. If he wanted to, he could be the number 1 point guard in this league. He could be a top 5 player in this league with his skills.
Yeah,
but his attitude,
top 5 point guard though.
His attitude is what's he's legitimately he's the one that created this whole AAU mentality in the NBA.
I know, I get you. But for this series though, I'm not saying overall. Overall, we've talked about our top 25, and then John Wall on all our lists wasn't rated that high. But I'm just saying, just this series, if John Wall is not shooting well, if he doesn't score at least 20 some odd points, the Wizards have a hard time winning. But because how many times? I know, I get you. But how many times during the playoffs has Isaiah scored under 20 points and the Celtics still win because he's got better role players than John Wall does?
I don't think it's because he's got better role players. I think if John Wall didn't pout, if John Wall didn't get sorry for himself, if John Wall didn't say, "Wow, fuck this, I'm not on tonight. Fuck everybody else," he could be a great distributor and lead his team to a victory, but he doesn't have that in him. If he's not the man, all right, he doesn't care. He's not going to play, which is the problem with John Wall. Which Isaiah, I think there's been 3 wins so far this year where he scored in this playoffs, where he scored under 20 points.
Yeah.
Or 2 or 3, maybe 2, but still 2 wins where the leading scorer, a top 4 scorer in the league this year, didn't score over 20 points, but played his heart out and still led his team to victory. John Wall doesn't have that in him. If John Wall's not the man, John Wall doesn't want to be a part of anything. If he's not the guy in the spotlight, he doesn't want anything to do with anything.
Well, before the series started, I had the Celtics winning in 6, mainly because I believe that the Wizards they have one good game and it's hard for them to repeat that, in back-to-back games, and they did that in this series in games 3 and 4. That's the first time all playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't see them having the same success in Game 7.
I'm not gonna say anything. I really hope that it's a really clean game. Both parties out there play some clean basketball.
Are you hinting at a?
Hopefully, no one gets hurt.
Jordan Mickey checks in and does some dirty work. Is that what you're trying to get at?
No, I'm just done making predictions on the playoffs of this series. Every fucking prediction I've made on this podcast has been wrong. So Marcus Smart's probably gonna blow his ACL in the first fucking second of this fucking Game 7 since I predicted him to be the MVP.
Better knock on that wood behind you, bro. What the hell's wrong with you?
All right, if the Celtics lose, is the season a disappointment?
Yes.
Fuck. Joel?
Yes.
I'm gonna say yes, only because the whole avoid Toronto.
Yeah, the way the path that they had.
The way the path, right?
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the
had Toronto.
I know, but at the beginning of the season when we were doing our predictions about the Celtics season,
what happened to Toronto?
We were pretty damn close, or if not, hit it on the button in terms of record wise. We didn't say number 1 seed. You know what I mean? So at that point, I said if they don't make it at least to the second round, I said it would have been disappointment. But because of what we've seen, I think at least being the first seed and
avoiding the Raptors
and
the Cavs.
Yeah. So I think so.
If we were the 4th seed, we'd be like, whatever, playing the Cavs. So. You know what I mean?
Because think of the headlines for Brad Stevens: 2-8 in 2 years of going to the playoffs, and then winning back-to-back series.
Yeah,
and then giving the Cavs,
and that was the worst
as much as they could. You know what I mean?
If I'm not mistaken, right? That was the worst start for an NBA coach after 10 games.
After the first 2 games. Of the Bulls series.
After the first 11.
Those first 2 games gives them 10 playoff games.
10 games.
No, I understand, but
minimum 10 games. He had 11 games, but he was 2-11.
Going into the playoffs, he was 2-8.
Yeah.
So there's that.
There's also that, and then he won 4 straight. So then he's 6-11.
They won 6 straight at one point. 6 straight games.
6 straight games. So he was what?
After bringing in Gerald Green.
8-11. He's like a fireable NBA coach at that point.
See, I just think win or lose, the Celtics are sort of the Eastern Conference best contender. You know what I mean? For Cleveland, because now Toronto, I mean it's looking messy up there.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to break that thing up because first of all, not only is Kyle Lowry a free agent, but they have a group of guys. Their core of guys aren't 22, 23 years old. They have guys that are going to either stick around and lock them in, which probably isn't the best thing for them to do because they've proven that they can't even win a game against the Cavs, or break it up and start from scratch, which automatically knocks them off from being a top 3 team. Yeah, the Wizards are still there, but the thing about the Celtics is that not only do they have that top 2, top 3 pick that we're going to find out about this week,
I was just going to mention that.
They also have Jaylen Brown. They also have plenty of cap space to shut up, Sean. They also have plenty of cap space to go grab somebody else. The Wizards don't have that.
No, I think
Toronto Raptors don't have that. But they don't have those assets.
But I still think it's even though everything is in a Celtics favor, where they have all of these other things going for them. This season, you're the number 1 seed and you don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's a disappointment. If you're a number 1 seed,
I get it, but that wasn't the expectation going into the season.
But I get you.
One could even say they overachieved, even if they lose in Game 7. Knock on wood. But even if they lose in Game 7, a lot of Celtics fans
will taking that.
Well, I know you're not taking it. I'm not taking it either. That's why I'm saying I think it would be a failure.
All right,
but no one expected to be the number 1 seed. Not even us. We were talking about 3rd seed at the most.
Well, I get that, but like if you're looking at it, like if you think the Celtics got this awesome future, right? If you think that Brad Stevens is the coach and Isaiah Thomas is the star and Al Horford's there and you can build through the draft, and if you're there right now, if you think this is like the next step into like the next championship contending team, then you have to be able to prove that you can do it before all these pieces mature. Because we're not saying get to the finals. We're not saying win an NBA championship.
Meet the Cavs before these guys.
Exactly. You need to at least get there. You know what I mean? If you can't get there, then who's gonna say Markelle Fultz is gonna come in here and make a big deal?
Well, I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking more of
I'm just saying, a free agent's going to come in and you're going to take it over the top. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking Gordon Hayward. I'm thinking the Paul Georges.
But
whatever Paul George wants to do, whether it's LA or whatever.
Yeah, that's two
guys like that are going to say, okay, wait a minute.
But it's not.
That team is one piece away. I can be that piece to go to the NBA Finals. I could be the piece to help this team knock off the Cavs because look where they are already.
Exactly. They've gotten to that point.
With the draft lottery being next week, right?
You can't fucking wait for it. Which is, I love that no one's been talking about this shit.
Yeah. It's going on, right? All I'm saying is, it's two different things when you're talking about
when you're in Game 7.
When you're talking about someone that potentially you can draft versus someone that you can bring in via free agents or a trade, whatever it may be. I think those are two different things.
His name is Markelle Fultz.
Regardless, the future looks brighter than, like you said, than the Wizards, than the Raptors.
Then the insert Eastern Conference team here.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about.
Those two main teams that people had looked that they were going to be ahead of the Celtics.
Because
even the Pacers.
This is where I'm getting my we need to win this game from.
And no one's coming off the books, at least not this summer.
This rebuild,
no one important,
has gotten this season defines sort of the rebuild process. I think, in my opinion, is like you have started with nothing. You got Isaiah Thomas. You made it to the first round. You got the Cavs. You lost, right? Whatever. Made it to the first round again the next year.
Won a couple games.
Won 2 games.
Yep.
Whatever, you lost. This year, you get over that hurdle. You're the number 1 seed, bro. You're number 1 seed. You can't be a failure as a number 1 seed and still expect to be able to come back next year and be better than that? No.
My question is, losing in Game 7 after you knocked off your first round, you finally won a series, and you lose in Game 7, 1 win away from facing the Cavaliers. Is that necessarily a failure?
At home.
That's a failure?
Yeah, I think it's a failure.
You lose at home to and to John Wall and the Wizards? It's not like you're losing to like a good Pacers team or like the Raptors. Like, you're losing to John Wall and Bradley Beal, who, when I said they were going to make the playoffs at the beginning of the year, everybody laughed at me. Everybody laughed at me when I said they were going to make the playoffs.
I mean, no one had them be in the top 4 seed. We were like, maybe they'll battle for the 6, 7, 8 spot.
I thought they were going to battle for the 8th spot, and you guys were like,
no, I didn't say that. I just
100%.
I said that. Yeah,
you might have. I didn't say that.
But I'm just saying, like, other than John Wall and Bradley Beal, this team is garbage. This team is garbage. So you can't lose to them in the Eastern Conference semis. You can't.
Oh, okay.
If you want to be the next guy knocking on that door,
that's fine.
Which I think we're all assuming that the Celtics will be, you can't lose this game.
Okay,
you got to win this game.
It'll be a failure, but in some aspects, isn't it fair to say that they've overachieved? Did anybody have them coming in as the first seed?
That's my point.
Did anybody have them winning more than 50 games? I think everyone was just like, oh, if they just win 50.
Nope.
They don't. Not only did they win 53 games. I
disagree with this point 100%.
But you're not letting me finish it.
I know.
You disagree with it before I finish it.
Go ahead. You're lowering the bar.
No, I'm not lowering the bar. It's realistic aspect of this team. Seriously, what if they finished third? What if they were? This was the number 3 seed versus what if Washington was the number 2 seed? And then what's your answer when he says that this is a failure?
If they finish third,
like we all expected them to,
if they finish third,
and they lose in the game 7,
I would have been looking at Danny Ainge and say, why didn't you fucking add anything at the fucking trade deadline?
You still been asking that. You said that last episode.
I'm saying that though. Like that makes it more like they were a good to great team in the regular season. So like if you're not capitalizing on that in a playoff run and you're losing in the Eastern Conference semis, it's a failure. Even if you're the 3rd seed, then I'm looking at Danny Ainge even more and saying you could have put this team over the top.
But you're still saying that to a certain extent.
If they lose, I'll be saying that.
Okay, then. So then
if
you still have that in the back of your mind. So is it really that huge of a failure? I still think it's a failure, but you're making it seem like it's because they're the number 1 seed.
How many games?
They're the number 1 seed.
How many games did we all predict them to win this year?
I said 53.
How many did they win?
53.
Okay, so does that make them the number 1 seed in the East?
It doesn't. It shouldn't.
It did.
It shouldn't.
But it did.
But it shouldn't, though. That's my point.
Okay,
it shouldn't.
But
it shouldn't. They overachieved.
No, they didn't overachieve because they were the team you thought they were. They were the team that you thought they were. They won 53 games.
Okay.
So if that makes them the best team in the East, then guess what? They're the best team in the East then.
But they're not, though. As much as you want them to be, they're not.
Obviously, the Cavs are the best team in the East.
No, but
I'm saying record-wise.
Even if it wasn't the Cavs, 53 wins shouldn't be considered as number 1. And that's just me.
Fair. I mean, but it is. So I mean, if you can't,
like they technically, if you want to even go a little bit deeper, kind of fell into that because the Cavs just like fuck it, right?
Well, they beat the Cavs.
They beat them once out of 4 times.
Still win.
All right, let's take a trip. Let's take our trip around the NBA like we always do with Joel's. In case you missed it, there's been a lot going on. A lot of things I want to talk about, but I know Joel has us all covered, so we'll get right into it.
What you talking about, Joel?
In case you missed it.
The NBA once again has pissed off Celtics fans by releasing their stupid last 2-minute report.
Why even do it?
I know, right? That 2.7 seconds instead of 1.1 should have been on the clock before Thomas's last attempt to win the series. And the report also noted that there was a few errors on their part when it came to the Wizards because Al Horford's screen that set up Avery Bradley's go-ahead three-pointer to put him up 89-87 with 39 seconds left was an illegal screen that they missed. And Al Horford, on the next possession, should have been called for a defensive 3-second violation.
Oh, so it evens out.
So it evens
There you
out,
go, fellas.
Well,
Sean, you're so riled up at that 1 second.
Yeah.
Well,
You know what?
Look what the NBA just told you.
You know what? NBA refs. If you wanna,
This is Steve Jobs' fault, by the way.
If you wanna take back a 3-pointer, guess what? That changes time. I've watched Back to the Future. All right, I've watched Back to the Future. Yep. If you try to change time of shit that already happens when shit happens after that, but if you talk about the end of the game, you can change that shit.
People start disappearing in pictures, right?
Yo, all I'm saying is that MILF in the front row is gone. All right, she's disappearing if you take back that Al Horford screen. But the end of the game you could have done because there's no time left after that.
Markieff Morris smacking Stephen A on the ass doesn't happen either, right?
Ends up hitting him in the nuts, and it's this whole big thing.
Kicking him because he's so pissed.
Yeah, because he just if you reverse the screen from, I'm just kidding. Just keep going. I'm not going down this wormhole.
You just grabbed my nuts. He complains about
what is wrong with you?
First off, before we get started about this game, listen, Markieff Morris.
Why is your Stephen A impersonation so on today?
It just came out.
It's on, dude. You can keep going. So you
don't grab a man right there. No,
that's on, dude. That's on. That's fucking fire. You're gonna keep talking in that voice all night.
No, because
that's my personal space.
It's all downhill from here. So if I keep going, it's just gonna get worse. And then Sean will be the first one to call me out. Nah, you sounded better earlier, man.
You lost it.
You lost it. Right.
Well, Game 7 tonight. Guess who's been anxious for this series to end? Oh, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They've been sitting around.
Hey, guess what they can?
Poor babies.
They've been sitting around, playing with themselves. Who knows? Whatever they do when they
twiddling their fingers,
twiddling their thumbs,
watching the Warriors.
My question is why does Tyronn Lue have to have a press conference after every practice?
My question is how many children's books do you think LeBron has read so far?
No, but why does this group of media have to crowd around? He has to come up, take his time and start talking about what they've been doing on their off days. Who the hell cares? Who the hell cares what they're doing? Seriously. In case you missed it, as if San Antonio Spurs needed some more bad luck to happen, then when they lose a 25-point lead to the Golden State Warriors, Kawhi Leonard left the game in the middle of the third quarter with an ankle injury, expected to get an MRI, and the question was asked. Yeah, it's his left ankle. Question was asked, did he think Zaza Pachulia did it on purpose when he was trying to defend the shot? He's this dude that's never gonna say like, there's some conspiracy behind Zaza playing defense. So he said no, he doesn't think he did anything intentional.
They asked Kawhi that?
They asked Kawhi this. And, of course, Zaza seconded and said no. What was it? He was just trying to defend the shot. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. If it was Draymond Green now, that'd be a different story, I think.
It didn't look intentional.
No, I didn't either. That's what I don't know why someone wouldn't even bring that up.
Like the Al Horford on Markieff Morris looked more intentional than this one.
It was more to question it than
right.
Gotcha.
Right.
This one I watched and I was like, where was the foul on that? Like when I watched it but damn, if the Spurs don't got Kawhi, they getting blown out by 50 every fucking game.
Yeah, I didn't need him. I mean, it's impressive what they did against the Rockets, but this is the Golden State Warriors. They need Kawhi.
That's the Rockets.
Yeah, exactly.
Rockets. These are the Warriors, bro.
Right.
What do you guys think about this series, though, real quick? Who's winning and how many games?
Without Kawhi?
I'm just saying in general.
Let's hope
before Kawhi went down, I thought that this series could potentially go 7.
What did the MRI come back as?
It still hasn't been released yet.
Fuck you, Pop.
Without Kawhi?
By the way, Pop had a nude suit on.
I'm going to give them a game.
Yeah,
I say Warriors in 5.
Wow.
Popovich's suit was his skin color. Literally, I turned the game on, and I was like,
on
whoa, Pop is naked. No, he's not. Just wore his same skin color as his suit. Exact same color. It was the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. Anyways.
So what's your prediction after all that?
If Pop keeps wearing nude suits, I don't know. It all depends on Kawhi. It legitimately all plays. If Kawhi plays the next 4 games, then I think the Spurs could legitimately take 2 of them.
Okay.
I think they can. But
right.
if Kawhi's out for the next 2 games, like if he can't play the next 4 straight games, it's over. It's done. I mean, it's 4 games.
It's tough.
Sweet.
Real quick about Pop. He's eliminated every Western Conference team at one point or another during his.
It's a crazy fucking stat.
As the head coach of the Spurs.
I keep trying to think of
including
teams.
the Pelicans.
I keep trying to think of teams that he may not have beat, but
no.
The Jazz
beat them too. The Lakers.
How long is Popping on?
The Vancouver Grizzlies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they made it Memphis Grizzlies.
It's the same franchise, but yeah, no.
Vancouver and Memphis, though?
Yeah, together,
yeah. You just picture Pop's face like, got them both.
Brian Reeves?
even when
Sharif Abdul-Rahim?
Even when New Orleans was in OKC for that 1 year. Beat them too.
What about the Sonics?
Yeah.
Oh, he got the Sonics.
He got the Sonics.
He got
him a couple times. Got a couple times.
Raiders?
We were talking about basketball teams.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. But good guess, though. Good guess. Well, in case you missed it, once again, the New York Knicks just can't stay out of the news. Your boy, Phil Jackson.
He's not my boy.
He is. You love Phil Jackson. No, I know you don't.
Well, you love Michael Jordan, so.
I love Michael Jordan.
Just assume that you love Phil Jackson, too.
Well, Phil Jackson keeps reiterating his belief that Carmelo Anthony should waive his no-trade clause and accept any deal that the Knicks can come up with to get rid of him. And
does he think he's a Jedi?
I don't know. I don't know what he thinks he is, but
he will accept this deal.
He says, we'd like him to have success. The opportunity is narrowing. We'd like for him to have success somewhere. We know it's not going to be here. Hopefully we'll be a playoff team next year, but it'll be tough to consider us a championship team. End quote.
So what does Carmelo have to do with a championship contender?
He wants him to go to another team, but he thinks that even without Carmelo, they'll be a playoff team.
Carmelo will be well, that's ridiculous. If Carmelo, this is a lot to ask from him.
Mm-hmm.
But if he accepts a bench role, he will be the most potent difference maker in a series that you could think of. Imagine that automatic offense off the bench.
Yeah, but the thing about Carmelo, though, I feel like he needs those starter attempts. You know what I mean?
But the minutes will be there.
That's what I'm saying. It'd have to be like a 30-minute. It'd have to be like
a Jason Terry,
a Louis Williams. Okay, yeah, Louis Williams.
But
type
coming off the bench,
right? And he would never do that. Because you know
but
him.
that's what I'm saying, though. If he did,
you know him. He's like, no, I'm still a starter. I'm still an all-star.
But
in this league.
if he comes, he could be an all-star.
I didn't make Joe Sway's top
bench.
25 list, but I'm still an all-star.
He could be an all-star off the bench and win 6 Man of the Year and win an NBA championship if he just decides to like. I'm just saying this. Imagine.
So you're saying on the Knicks?
Yeah. San Antonio.
On the Knicks or any other team?
No, on a championship contender.
Okay, right.
If he goes to San Antonio,
could work.
And he's just
he can't
the
go
guy
to Cleveland.
that
He can't go to Golden State.
No. He San Antonio. I mean, maybe Boston. If depending on who we get in free agency, what that trade happens.
I think the Knicks at this point should just buy him out and let him be free.
Nah, Phil's not doing that.
Well,
yeah, Phil ain't gonna do that. Phil still thinks he can get a first round draft.
No, I know, but who's gonna trade for him? Honestly, though,
somebody will trade
a non-contender.
Somebody will trade nothing.
He has a no trade clause. He can say no, I don't want that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, or you know what?
I think Phil's thinking is like, let me keep pissing this dude off in the media. Let me keep talking shit about him. He's going through a divorce.
Let me ask you.
You know what I mean?
Let me ask you guys this.
Just so he just says, all right, to any deal. Let me the fuck out of here.
Let me throw this out there.
Oh yeah, the next thing
this is something I've been thinking about lately with this whole Carmelo thing. The Lakers, is that a possibility?
For Carmelo?
No, not for Carmelo. Not for
and
Melo.
then they grab Paul George.
Like Paul George,
and then they grab Paul George.
And then
that's a little super
team. They get the number one
okay,
pick.
so then you
or top 2, whatever. Yeah, top 3 pick in the draft.
Wait. Okay, are you trading Brandon Ingram in this deal?
I mean, that's the thing. Money-wise, someone has to take Timothy Mozgov off their hands, first of all, which is going to be tough. The tough pill to swallow.
Luol Deng.
No, it's over. Done.
Luol Deng.
Conversation done. No one's taking Mozgov. No one's taking Mozgov.
You could trade.
Walton.
Walton becomes the coach of the head of the Knicks instead of Hornacek.
Phil Jackson and Luke Walton.
The Doc Rivers move you're talking about?
Yeah.
Trading coaches?
Pretty much.
Straight up Luke Walton for Carmelo. Who says no?
Yeah. Magic Johnson might say yes.
No, Magic Johnson will say no because he's got
Magic
Brandon
Johnson,
Ingram.
Really?
They've already.
We're talking about Magic Johnson.
They wasted the number 2 overall pick.
We're talking about Magic Johnson
on Ingram, and you're going to bring in Carmelo to just steal minutes from him. If you got faith that Ingram will eventually turn into a player,
if you think Magic Johnson don't want to have those tickets being sold, Carmelo's in L.A. now.
Magic Johnson cares about money.
Magic Johnson cares about money.
He does.
And he cares about making the Lakers look good.
Exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. So Magic Johnson,
the Lakers. I mean, the Knicks will go from one. Well, he makes a little more than Timothy Mozgov, but that's still a big contract to take because he has to be in that deal.
It's a better contract than Timothy Mozgov, though. Now, but Magic Johnson cares about money, but over money, he cares about the LA Lakers.
Yeah.
So he won't make a dumbass deal to say, even though he didn't make the pick, Brandon Ingram was the number 2 overall draft pick that year, right?
Yeah.
So you need to give him some time to develop at the 3. You can't bring in Carmelo for 3 years.
You just said, what if he decides to come off the bench?
On a rebuilding team.
He's not coming off the bench for the Lakers. For the Lakers.
Absolutely
not. He can play the 4.
No, he can't. No.
He can play the 4. Who's their 4?
No.
Who would you take?
Randall.
Who would you...
It's a rebuild. He's not going to L.A. Stop with L.A.
All right. Well, he brought
I'm just throwing it out there.
Stop with L.A.
What about the Clippers?
The Clippers, I would say yes.
Okay.
The Clippers, he'd be the starter, though.
We talked about the Raptors blowing it up. They have to blow it up.
But if all their free agents are leaving, J.J. Redick, we'll even say Chris Paul.
Mm-hmm. Chris Paul's gone.
And Blake Griffin. Who are you going to trade?
No, he's not going there.
That's what I'm saying. No, but I'm talking about Carmelo.
Who
are you going to trade to get Carmelo?
Right. If they come back, maybe you can figure something out. I just think that there's a couple of places that he can go. I don't know them at this point. I think the Spurs are a place. I think the Celtics are a place. I think even if the Pacers want to try to keep Paul George,
I don't know, man.
That's
tough for the Pacers.
Even Toronto, or even Portland, or like somewhere that Portland he could probably start. Right? They put a lot of money into Evan Turner. That could be the deal that comes back. Evan Turner for whatever. There's plenty of places he can go. Will he though? Will he just say, you know what?
Well, that's what Phil is banking on. Like I said, he's trying to just piss him off.
So does Carmelo have value? Yes. Does Carmelo's
not going to budge unless it's like
he's got to
unless it's like the Cavaliers.
I think if he ends up budging on the no trade clause, it's a good sign for the rest of his career because he'll be like, I'm not the guy. I know I'm getting traded here to be this role. I have to accept it. So maybe we'll see.
All right, what else we missed?
You want to talk about Bron? We can talk about Bron. We want to talk about Bron. About these Fox Sports douchebags. You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that? Oh, you want to talk about that?
Oh,
yeah, you want to talk about that?
I'll talk about that.
Oh, in case you missed it?
podcast he was what?
Fox Sports is obsessed with LeBron James. With who? LeBron James.
They're obsessed with this Jordan comparison.
Fuck Colin Cowherd though.
Cowherd.
Biggest joke at anything. Sports.
Nick Wright. That
like
dude.
Cowherd.
That dude is obsessed with LeBron James.
But this statement though,
every other
this
day,
one is just over the top.
Every other day, like they'll just whatever's going on in sports, they'll pause and say, "All right, this is the LeBron segment.
This is LeBron.
This is LeBron segment, right?" And
welcome to the LeBron.
The most recent segment that caught my attention, the statement was made that Michael Jordan never beat a great team compared to LeBron James going on to win a championship. Never.
Probably the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard.
Okay, according to Cowherd, LeBron has beaten 3 Hall of Famers when it came to OKC. I guess he must be Nostradamus because he knew Harden was going to be a great player 5 years ago, right?
Westbrook too,
right? He knew 5 years ago that Harden and Westbrook were going to be
Westbrook
MVP candidates.
Westbrook and Harden didn't make the Hall of Fame until like this year.
No, not according to him, right? He beat 3 Hall of Famers in the Spurs, even though the Spurs beat LeBron twice in the finals.
Dose. No, 1 and 2 against the Spurs.
1 and 2 against the Spurs. You're right.
LeBron.
1 and 2 against the Spurs. Who else they beat? Oh, a 73 win team with 3 Hall of Famers. Well, now he says 4 because Durant's on the team, even though he wasn't on the team last season.
How do you just gonna put him on the team as if he was playing against the Cavaliers?
But technically though,
that's ridiculous.
You can't add him as another Hall of Famer. If you already called him a Hall of Famer 5 years ago when it comes to Durant, right?
They didn't even play him last year. You can't say it's an entire argument at all.
This entire argument is just flawed.
It's just flawed.
And this is the one thing against that argument. One thing that will just trump that argument. I will take a top 10 team in the 90s over any team. Any team that is in the NBA right now.
Oh, okay. Oh, I like
any
that.
team.
I like that.
I will take a top 10 team in the 90s.
Top 5.
You'd have to discuss.
How about like top 7?
Probably top 7.
I get what you're saying though. There's a lot of great teams.
There was way more great teams than there are right now.
Better competition.
Just think of the teams that didn't make the finals.
Just think of the players that didn't win a championship because Jordan stood in their way.
The Rockets never played against Jordan.
Yeah.
How did that even happen?
You know what? And because of this argument, 25 years later, I wish Jordan didn't retire. I really do. Because then we would be able to say, that would have been. Add the Houston Rockets to the list.
Yep.
So he didn't beat the Rockets. Okay.
Didn't beat the Rockets.
But he beat the Pistons.
Okay. Would he have beaten the Rockets?
He beat the Lakers. I think he would have.
He beat the Blazers.
That was Scottie Pippen's best
year,
He beat the
Utah Jazz.
Twice.
Arguably the best 1-2 combo in NBA history.
Yep.
Or point guard, power forward combo ever.
No.
And John Stockton and Karl Malone. He was the sole reason neither one of those guys won a championship.
He beat the best,
basically
the best team that Phoenix has ever had.
If you're gonna,
the Suns that year in 1993,
and Charles Barkley's best years,
MVP year.
That team with
team was
Kevin
ridiculous.
Johnson, Charles Barkley,
best team I've seen, best Phoenix Suns team. I don't know. I don't know about the 70s and all that, but in the last 30 years, that was probably the best team in franchise history.
That was the team. Dan Marley,
right? That team was better than Nash and Marley.
Cedric Ceballos when he could still ball.
Tom Chambers. His whole point was about Hall of Famers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Michael Jordan, he didn't beat Charles Barkley. He didn't beat Karl Malone.
Barkley don't have a ring though,
but he's still a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but he's the reason. Jordan is the reason he doesn't have a ring.
He beat Karl Malone. Exactly. He beat John Stockton. Those two didn't win a ring. He's the sole reason why.
Who else didn't win it? But we didn't even mention Gary Payton and Sean Kemp.
Clyde Drexler, before he went to Houston, he had to go to Houston to win a ring when Michael wasn't in the league.
When Michael retired.
When Michael wasn't even in the league.
Gary Payton.
I'm my eyes all bugged out right now, just like Nick Wright.
That's how Kenny Smith got a ring.
Yeah.
I'm not
because of that.
He's got to thank Michael for that.
Sam Cassell too.
Robert Orr in his early years. Rudy Tomjanovich.
All I'm saying though, okay, so let's talk about this. I think this is the more fun argument that I'm just going to create right now. Who's the best team that Jordan beat in the finals?
Utah. Probably that Phoenix. Oh no, Utah.
No, Utah.
I'm taking the Sonics.
Sonics, really?
I'm taking the Sonics.
Utah.
With Detlef Schrempf, Peyton.
I don't know.
Utah.
That might have been one of the weaker teams.
Detlef Schrempf.
Utah's the only team that nearly pushed them to 7 games.
I just love that Sonics team. I don't know. Maybe it's just.
I don't know. The Sonics beat them, brought them to 6.
Yeah.
The Sonics did?
Yeah.
Sonics did win 2.
You guys,
and so did Phoenix.
You guys are sleeping on Gary Payton though. The Gary Payton.
Yeah, well, that's another Hall of Famer. That.
Yeah, but when I say almost brought him to Game 7, I mean like Jordan made that winning shot. You know what I mean? Like
that
came down to
that Sonics
that
team,
final play.
That Sonics team was like a deep team. They were like I don't know. I would say
I can
probably
tell you really
the
like
Jazz.
them. You like them.
I would probably say
Sam Perkins in them.
Sam Perkins. What about Sam?
Sam
Good old
Perkins.
Sam.
Hershey Hawkins.
Hershey. Let's keep going. Who's the white? Who's the white?
I never
center
knew.
there?
I never
Who's the
knew
white
you love
center there?
this team so much.
But the Jazz, I would say it's either the Jazz team, the Suns team.
All right. So then, who's the best team that that LeBron knocked off? The Spurs, right?
That he knocked off.
Yeah,
the Spurs. Yeah,
easily.
And
an
that
aging Spurs
and that wasn't
team.
and that wasn't. But besides that wasn't even him.
Only because of Ray Allen.
Yeah, it wasn't even him.
Yeah. You could say that. That's
what did he do the following year? He got leg cramps in Game 1. They should have gotten swept in 2014.
Okay, but what's the biggest argument when you talk about Michael Jordan and LeBron James? What's the biggest thing that the
rings?
Michael Jordan said? Yeah, okay.
Every time
Michael Jordan's side says the rings, they say that Jordan's never lost in the finals. But so let's look at the teams that LeBron did lose against. Number one team that stands out to me is the Dallas Mavericks.
The Dallas motherfucking Mavericks.
Listen,
you guys hating on
very
Dirk?
talented team.
Not Dirk.
Dirk Nowitzki is a Hall of Famer. But if you look at the rest of that roster on the Dallas Mavericks, 38-year-old Jason Kidd, Tyson Chandler. I mean,
Sean Marion, JJ Barea.
Sean Marion at the tail end of his career. I mean,
let's talk about
that team knocked off LeBron James, but that's the year they never want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Nick Wright and
that's
Colin
how
Cowherd.
That's how he starts. That's how he starts off his argument, excluding the 2011 NBA Finals. Oh yeah,
you're just gonna exclude that?
So why don't we exclude? Oh wait, we can't exclude anything from Jordan because every time he went to the finals, he won it.
Yeah. Right. Why don't you exclude those 2 years he retired then, and just say he won 6 in a row?
I don't know. Anyways, I guess we got that off our chest. Right?
All right, cool.
So
Game 7, baby, let's go. Let's go, Game 7, baby. Woo!
Well, this in case you missed it is brought to you by
Seattle Night. When you want the bed.
Make sure you download the CLNS radio app on your Android or your iPhone for the best sports coverage, especially in Boston sports. You can listen to the Causeway Street podcast on there, along with other great podcasts, including Sean's Boys.
The Podcast FC.
Podcast FC.
By the way,
the
Premier
best.
League is ending at the end of the week.
Well, didn't Chelsea already wrap that up?
Maybe. But still, there's placing to be done.
Maybe.
There's placing to be done. Manchester United trying to shoot for that top 4 spot.
Well, make sure you listen to Podcast FC for the best in soccer coverage.
But fuck that. Right now, you got to listen to Causeway Street.
Like he said, I second that. And that's it for...
In case you missed it.
I forgot to bring up something.
Oh, go ahead.
This is a very serious topic.
Okay.
Why the fuck did Tom Brady pose for the batting cover?
Because Roger Goodell finally figured out a way to maybe slow him down. Maybe. Probably not.
To be continued, folks. To be continued.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see how that ends.
All right.
I wasn't excited about it either.
I had to get it off my chest, and then he was breaking mirrors on his thing, man. Nothing.
If you haven't noticed, Sean's big on superstition.
You know how much that hurt me to watch?
Well, clearly he's not into superstitions. That's his point.
I blame Tony Robbins on this, and this is a whole different point.
Did you go outside and hop on one foot and throw some salt on each side of your shoulder to reverse that?
I bought a rabbit's foot. I will say that.
It's good. Say a Hail Mary as well.
There you go.
Bought a couple prayer candles.
So you got him. You're gonna even it up.
You know what? Just get a Roger Goodell
doll.
And you can
but
figure
if
it out
Roger
from there.
Goodell gets hurt, how does that help Brady if he gets hurt?
Well, maybe he doesn't, and you reverse it.
I'm not even that worried about it. I'm just worried that if something happens, you know how many times we're gonna have to see that fucking shit. Literally, anybody that you know that's not a Patriots fan will just be like, play, repeat, repeat, repeat. Any argument that you ever have, they just play. Right there.
Make sure you follow us on all social media accounts, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Our Snapchat game is on point. So he runs that bad boy when he's at the Garden.
Oh, I'll slide into your DMs too.
Okay, cool. You'll have Sean sliding into your DMs.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys. Game 7.
Something to look forward to, baby. Hey.
Let's see what happens. Win or lose. We will be right back a week later.
And Peep,
you guys will be back.
Peep Sway's Celtics pregame show before Game 7.
We barely mentioned this, but before we come back on again, I will know if we're going to get Markelle Fultz or not.
All right.
The draft lottery will happen before we come back on air.
That's true.
Happy Mother's Day, by the way.
Happy Mom's Day, Mom. My mom listens to every episode.
Out there, Mama Pavone. I know she listens. Shout out to you. And she had a birthday a couple days ago. Sorry.
Happy birthday, Mama Pavone. Mom. Happy birthday, Mama Doots. Her birthday was 2 weeks ago too.
We love all the mamas out there. Thanks for supporting us. And
guys, I don't know if you understand this. Game motherfucking 7. Game 7.
I'm going to count how many times you've said that. Oh,
Game 7.
It's going to be a classic, right?
I think it's going to be an instant classic.
All right, we'll see. John Wall versus Isaiah Thomas. I think it's going to come down to that in that fourth quarter.
I hope so, because Isaiah Thomas got that 10 times out of 10. Anyways.
Well, on that note, until next time, folks.
Game 7, baby. Let's go. All right. See you guys. Woo!
Peace.